So let me start. All right, perfect. So today, this Zoom will be about psychology. Of course, we'll end the topic of psychology, so don't worry, I'm not going to talk about psychology too long. And then the next thing we are going to touch on is, of course, the next topic, which is MMP. MMP is, of course, it's a somewhat nice word made up. It's called the money-making pyramid. I just thought of it and I thought it would be a cool name. It's kind of, it makes sense and I'll get into it later on. I hope to not make this Zoom too long because this week there will be a lot of videos coming up because with the MMP program, I'll take you with me through my whole routine, through everything. I hope, but I'm not sure. I hope to record some live trades as well this week, or do some Zoom calls in my London session, etc., and hop on calls with all of you during my trading session. That would be pretty cool, I think. So I'll take you through my whole routine. So again, I hope to not make this Zoom too long. So let's get right into it. First, we are finishing off psychology. So I hoped everyone, at least that was my goal, I hope everyone was aware of the psychology errors, etc., that happened to them throughout the week, or that were haunting them, the obstacles that were in the way. And I hope you got aware. Now, the next thing for us to do is recognizing the pattern. So this week was all about recognizing that pattern that leads you to over trading or leads to getting angry or leads you to the fear, etc. Then the next thing is breaking the momentum. So I've talked about this earlier as well, breaking the momentum. So as soon as we see the pattern come up, the normal thing for us to do, if we see pattern 1 coming up, the normal thing for us to do is we go to 2. So the next thing, if we are angry, we automatically, next thing we are going to do is we start over trading. Now the next thing, because we have recognized our pattern and because we recognize the early stages of something happening, we can break this pattern. We need to break the momentum. We need to take a deep breath, do something else, stand up, go for a walk, and that way you are breaking the momentum. So you are essentially, you are breaking a habit and replacing it with a new habit, because every time you notice the pattern or the early signs starting to come up, you can take a deep breath instead, and that way you are creating a new habit. Then the next thing for you to do, once you have done that, you take a deep breath, you are doing something else besides the normal thing that you would do that will lead you to the overtrading. So normally you will not even break the pattern and you will just keep on trading, etc. Now we break the momentum. Next thing we do is inject logic. So like we've talked about earlier, if we are getting angry or we are a little bit we have a little bit of fear inside of us, then we need to break the momentum first off. Next thing, we need to inject logic. We need to have a logical statement for us to tell ourselves once we are breaking the momentum. So for example, again, if we notice an early sign of us getting into the fear, then the next thing is recognizing the pattern, breaking the momentum, taking a deep breath, going for a walk. Next thing is having a statement, a logical statement, atop of your desktop or at your office or something you can quickly look at and then reading it out loud. Now, injecting logic for fear for anger could be a little bit different. For fear, it could be, all right, no matter what happens next, I know the market will provide eventually, etc. I know it's normal to lose. So if you are fearful of losing money or fearful of losing in general or fear of being wrong, then you can tell yourself it's normal to lose. Losing is inevitable. The only thing I can control is my thoughts and following my plan. And whatever happens next is outside of my control. So that's a logical statement you can tell yourself. And if you tell yourself that over and over, and that leads us to the fourth point, is repeating. Because this is the most important thing for us all. Repeating a process consistently over and over and over. And this way, we will eventually get to a point where that emotion doesn't even come up anymore. That fearful thoughts, they don't even come up anymore. And that's a very strong thing. Now, of course, we need to repeat this. This is not a one-time thing. We will do it over and over and over and over, just like we do with trading. If we want to learn a technical skill, we do it over and over and over, and we will get better at it, etc. Again, with psychology as well, it's repeating, it's doing it over and over and over consistently, and we will get better at it. And we will recognize patterns, recognize our thoughts way better if we do this more often. So don't think you fully have your psychology on lock just after this week, because that's most of the times just not the case. Even for me, it's not the case. I still struggle with psychology sometimes. So for me, I also repeat the same thing over and over and over. And if you have done the homework, you will have a lot of steps ahead of you. You will have made a lot of steps. So that's very, very good, I think. All right, so that's basically it for psychology, and that's the end of the psychology week. And again, like I said, you will probably not have a perfect psychology after this week. We need to repeat it, we need to consistently improve, etc. It's about making small gains consistently, 1% better every day, not a 300% better in one day and then do nothing at all the next days. No, we are getting 1% better every day. These consistent efforts will pay off eventually. All right, let me get into the next thing, which is MMP, the money-making pyramid. Let me share my screen right here. Let me stop recording as well.